I don't know why, but the mortality. I'm sure mortality is something that we all think about, but I don't have too much energy today. I've continued to be sick. I've had quite the headache today, but also there's something a bit exhausting, I think, about thinking about. Goodness, that was wordy. It can be exhausting thinking about mortality. And what's interesting is that, I don't think I've ever, consciously or, intentionally started thinking about mortality. It's always one of those things that kind of pops into your brain, like freaking out about dying. It's not even that I really freak out. It's just that you kind of think about it, and then something weird happens in your stomach or your soul. I don't know. But it's that feeling, maybe that sinking feeling that I experience. It only comes every couple of weeks. It's weird. It's like you'll go a month completely forgetting that one day you will be dust, and then on a random Friday night, it's kind of all consuming. And I don't know if it's I'm sure everyone kind of experiences it differently, but that's really how it's been my whole life, is I kind of forget about it, and then once a month you kind of have a reckoning with it, and then you move on with your life. It doesn't really I wouldn't say it doesn't it kind of bothers me in the moment, but it's not something that it's I've been thinking about death today quite a lot. It's kind of just been I'm trying to do work. I'm at work. I'm trying to focus on editing this Instagram reel for my boss, and now I'm thinking about returning to dust. I'm trying to edit the Instagram reel. But where was I going with this? Every one of these videos, man, every one of these videos, I have to take a second to remember what I'm talking about. You trying to edit Instagram reels because you think, yeah, it's just, in a lot of ways, it reminds me of when I've experienced grief, but not quite. I've been thinking about this for the last couple hours, because it's not a perfect analogy. It's not, but it is when you're far removed from grief. This is not everyone's going to relate to this, and that's okay. But in my experience, it's one of those things where hits you hot and heavy for a long time, and then once you get far enough away from it, it's one of those things where it just kind of will hit you from time to time. To me, and I've experienced grief. I haven't lost any parents yet. Honestly, all four of my grandparents are still alive, right? So the grief, it hasn't I am expecting to experience grief in a lot of areas in my life still. And isn't that weird? That's something I think about too, is there are certain moments in my life coming up in which grief will be experienced. And you kind of just wait for those to happen. But I try not to just sit and... So this whole video, by the way, is just boy alone in studio apartment thinks about mortality. So the video, it's not, this is going to be the rest of the video. It's just more of this. So feel free to click away if you're not tuned in, if you're not locked in with me. But it's shoot, what was I talking about? Death. Yeah, I'm expecting, I think, waiting, when it comes to maybe waiting to experience grief, it is, it's, when I say I'm waiting, it makes it sound like I'm just kind of sitting around waiting for the people in my life to die. This is not something I'm waiting around for, literally, but I know, I know it'll happen. And that doesn't, it's not going to matter. Right. It doesn't, you can't prepare yourself for that kind of stuff. But anyway, I was just comparing how the times I've experienced grief with family or friends, it reminds me in terms of how it will hit you in waves, but then also just it's the same sinking feeling. It's the same sinking feeling. And what's even more interesting about it is that I can ignore things in my brain. My brain today, when I was thinking about mortality, my brain was also thinking about it was obviously thinking about work, but like I will start talking to myself in my head, trying to distract myself from it. And I can up here, but you can't in the pit of your stomach. And it's interesting. I think it's not even, honestly, I don't mind. I'm pretty grateful that this is how I experience mortality, because I can handle it once or twice a month. I can handle that sinking feeling. I can handle a day or an evening in which it is kind of mostly what's on my brain, because most of the other days I'm not thinking about it. Just the other day, I think I talked about on here how like I feel like I've been 22 for a while. So like, I don't know. I know some people, they have a lot of anxiety about it. And, I don't know. I kind of get all my anxiety out like once a month. It's like a period, but for thinking about death. I try not to make those kind of jokes. There are a lot of guys who will make like period jokes. And I grew up with two sisters and a mom, and like my dad was gone at work. So like, it is something I like. There are things you learn when you're surrounded by girls at a younger age than like, I don't know. None of that stuff, basically what I'm trying to say is that none of that stuff has ever made me uncomfortable, because like my family would like joke and talk about it openly. And so like when other guys would like freak out about that stuff, it never really hit me. So all, but all that to say, like, you know, those kind of jokes, again, when you hear them from your siblings, like it's not, or from your parents, like it's not, that stuff doesn't gross you out. But it does gross me out when like when guys make period jokes, and obviously they're the ones who do it in an intentionally derogatory sense, or an intentionally gross way. But I don't know. Sometimes I'm trying to think of an example of I don't know. Is what I just said, was that derogatory? I didn't think so. It was just a comparison. Yeah. When someone makes like a comparison in a way that doesn't come across as demeaning, which hopefully what I said didn't come across as demeaning. I didn't mean it demeaning at all, but maybe it did. That's fine. Whoops. But I don't like hearing men make those jokes. I don't know. It just kind of was like gross. So maybe I am gross. It's not that I'm grossed out by it. It's just that like, it's just weird. That's it. It just rubs me the wrong way a little bit. It's not, yeah. We are 7.5 minutes into this video, and we still haven't accomplished anything. And that's okay. One of the things I've talked about is that this is my second channel where I am just practicing the art of talking. I'm going to get better at this, I think, if I keep practicing.